So yesterday when I saw the Kelce news, I kind of was like, okay, I got to jump on this Lions line because it's definitely going to move. So I'll try to get some value. So I got 6.5 and I think minus 120 before it moved. And now, it's like you said, it's at 4.5, 5.5, some spots. I think if Kelce doesn't play, even if he plays with a swollen knee, I don't know if you saw Jason Kelce was on like a podcast this morning or last night or yesterday. And they're like, oh, how's Travis? And he's like, oh, these guys like this, they don't care. They just tell each other about everything, even if they have injuries. And he was like, well, I had the same injury last year because I like kicked a piece of firewood or something. But then the guy was like, oh, but you didn't miss any time. He's like, yeah, I think I had more time to recover than Travis did. So Travis or Kelce with on the Chiefs going into the game on Thursday, 2 days to really get like that knee swelling down. If he gets to that point, I'm sure he'll play, but he'll still play a little bit limited. It doesn't really matter though. Like we've seen him play limited. We've seen Mahomes play limited. He'll still go for 10 catches and 100 yards and a touchdown. But without Chris Jones, I think this Chiefs defense will look a lot different. I think you're going up against probably a top 3 O-line in the NFL. So without Chris Jones, there's not a ton of pressure coming through the middle or at all to Jared Goff. If he has time to sit back and wait in the pocket, his weapons aren't great other than Amon-Ra St. Brown, I would say at this point. It's a little bit of wait and see with Josh Reynolds and Marvin Jones. But I really like the Lions at plus 6.5. It scares me a little bit how much I've seen the love for the Lions plus 6.5 at this point, considering all the Kelce news and stuff. But I'm still going to ride with that side right now.
What the fuck is going on with my camera now, Ryan? You scared my camera, all right? But, in his 2 week 1 games, Campbell has given up 41 and 38 points. I think that there's still a path to, the Chiefs. I like the Lions to cover, but I think there's a path to the Chiefs still winning this game. Are you under that impression too? Or are you still going like Lions win this game?
It's tough to say the Lions for sure win this game. You always see the team, like the former Super Bowl winner, kind of maybe struggle in week 1. I don't know what the exact stat is right now in terms of like what the former Super Bowl winner and how they've done the game after that on that Thursday night opener. But I can't see totally the Lions winning. We had Trent on our stream today and he was like, I have Lions plus 6 just because I think at the end there's going to be some bullshit or some fluke shit that's going to happen and the Lions are going to cover. I think it's going to be a pretty close game throughout. The Lions are supposed to be one of the better teams in their division, or not, if not the best team in the division. Mm-hmm. And I think their offense this year will be able to compete maybe with the Chiefs, especially if Kelce's like a little bit hurt. Because other than Kelce, there's really not too many weapons for Mahomes to use. But he can make me look good in the NFL. So
yeah, fair. That's why I leaned. I looked at this game. I took KC team total 20.5 at minus 112. It was 30.5 when it first opened. I might have seen it a little bit late. It might have been higher than that, but I still think without Kelce, Mahomes is just going to make it happen. Where are you at with player props? Have you bet anything yet?
I haven't touched any player props just yet. I might be a little hesitant just for this game especially, but there's a couple I definitely have my eye on, and it's on the Lions side again. Actually, it depends on how Kelce figures out, because I think there's a really interesting anytime touchdown scorer that you can look at if Kelce doesn't play, or if he's playing like at a limited fashion of any sense. So Justin Ross, I think, is at anytime touchdown scorer 5-1. I think he's plus 450 at most books. I think that's an interesting option. I saw a tweet come out yesterday that, he's that big target that they could use in the red zone if Kelce is out. He was phenomenal at Clemson in that exact same spot for his quarterback. So I could see him being used in that way if Kelce's out. And then also, looking at the Lions, I think David Montgomery, like everyone's talking about Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah. I think David Montgomery rushing props would be great. And then him anytime touchdown scorer is props like a little high. I think it's like plus 110 at most spots. I would think it'd be like a minus money at this point. But plus 110 is still, I think, is an awesome price to get on David Montgomery, especially considering Jamal Williams scored fucking 17 touchdowns last year for the Lions. Yeah. So obviously Dan Campbell likes to use his big, bulky running backs down in the red zone. Jahmyr Gibbs won't really be touching the ball, I think, within the 10. So if they get in that spot, I think David Montgomery's kind of a lock for a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think I think they also drafted when they drafted Gibbs, they had Montgomery. I don't think they weren't bringing out Montgomery to be kind of like this backup to Gibbs. It was more for him to have his own independent role. Gibbs is going to do something totally different. And, there's a lot of word of mouth and you can take it at face value or what, but I like, that receiving and rush combo for Gibbs. I think that he's going to get used no matter what it is. If it's out of the slot, backfield, 2 RB sets, I think that Gibbs is going to get a lot of action. I like the Montgomery call. I've talked myself more into him, and I think maybe in fantasy, I probably made the mistake of not taking him later on when I should have. I really like Mahomes over 13.5 rush yards. That's where I got it at. It's moved to 14.5. I know PointsBets actually still has it. I'm okay with you taking the over 20.5. I think Mahomes is the guy that he just gets it done. You can get anywhere from, 20 to, he had a game last year, I think he had 64 rush yards by himself. So I think that he, if he gets into a situation where he knows the hype of the Lions, he's not losing to this team, and then he's going to just put the team on his back at some point.